Okay, welcome everyone. Today's video is actually going to be a tutorial for Google Classroom in hopes that this can help you serve as a resource for your online instruction and to better organize the content and the material in your classroom, as well as communicate with your students and the parents. So first, we're going to access the Google Classroom website. So that website is called classroom.google.com. And as you can see here, I've already registered and created an account, but I'm going to walk you through the different steps that you need to do in order to set up the account. In the upper right hand corner, you'll see a plus sign here. So that plus sign will actually give you options to either create your own classroom or join a class. So in this case, we're going to follow the steps of creating a classroom. In order to join a class, there is actually a QR code or special code that the teacher needs to provide to the participants. So in this case, we're not going to be able to use this option, but we will still go ahead and create our own classroom. So we will select create class. The next step is you're going to fill out the information pertaining to your classroom. Now, I did want to point out that the only thing that's required here is the actual class name. But if you wanted to further organize the classroom, if you're teaching multiple classes, you want to go ahead and divide up your classrooms by section, subject, and room. So in this case, let's go ahead and just type in tutorial. And you'll go ahead and click the create button. So it's pretty simple. It's very simple to use. And once that's done, you will see an actual tutorial. So that's the class we created. You'll see an icon for that. And that will actually redirect us to the Google Classroom site that we created. Okay, so this Google site, when it redirects you, is going to go ahead and redirect you to this tab, which is the streaming tab. Now, this tab, pretty much what it the function it actually serves is for communication purposes. So you can go ahead, similar to a lot of other social media platforms or even learning management systems, you can go ahead and share something with your classroom, an announcement, pose a question, and then down here where it says communicate with your class, you can create and schedule announcements, respond to any student posts, or sort of like a discussion board. And in the left hand side, you'll see a section that says upcoming. And that's going to, once you start assigning, creating assignments, that's going to present any upcoming work that the student needs to complete. So that way they know they're always on track and they can see what, is going to be coming up due soon. In the upper left-hand side, you'll see a code here. This is actually the code that the teacher will need to provide her students. Either you can, and I'll show you how to do this shortly, either you can go ahead and invite people by entering their information and their email address, or you can print out a document with this class code, and your participants or students will type in that code and should be able to join your classroom that way. The system actually allows you to modify the theme, upload pictures on here. So maybe if this is a class pertaining to mathematics, you'll want to add some nice web design on here with maybe functions and formulas, and maybe the standard that you're covering for the month or the week. So you can go ahead and just, make it a lot more visually appealing for the students. The next tab that we see is the classroom tab. So as you can see, there's a blue button that says create here. That's what the teacher will need to do in order to create any assignments. So you can create assignments on here, add questions. In fact, not only can you create assignments, but you can also create an assignment and link a Google document or file on here, so that the students can use that file to complete their assignments. The next option this allows you to do, this is pretty much, it's a way of organizing your work, to make it more meaningful for the students. So you can create modules or divide it up by different units. When I was teaching third grade, I would actually, this would have been helpful because I could have divided up. Let's say I was teaching language arts, I could divide it up by the standards. So all the classwork in this one section, let's say, would be pertaining to one specific standard. You can also, with this up and down arrow, you can also change the order in which the work is displayed to the students. So the teacher has a lot of capability here to organize their work. And here is the classroom drive folder. So you can create a folder for your classroom to, review any resources or attach any resources to your classroom, link it. The next tab that we see here is the People's tab. So it's going to have you as a teacher, if you are the teacher yourself. So it's going to have your name. And the bottom part of it, it's going to have students. So students, this is, there's a little icon of an individual with a plus sign. That's where you would invite your students. So if you click on that button, it actually asks you to type in the student's name. Or if they have an email address, you would go ahead and enter their email address and click invite, and that will prompt them to register to your Google Classroom. So that's the People's tab. The next tab that's very easy to use as well is the Grades tab. So there's, as you can see, there's nothing on here just yet because I don't have any students in my classroom. So in order for you to see the options for grading, you would have to have two things already populated on this website. One is you would have to have assignments, and two, you would have to have participants in your classroom. So once you've taken those two steps, then you'll see the option for grading. And it actually gives you two ways to grade, by total points or by weight. And that's something that you can decide per class, per subject area. Pretty much gives the teacher a lot of leeway in terms of the way they want to grade. Overall, I think this tool is very similar to a learning management system because it has ways to communicate, a section to organize your work, and a way to access all your assignments. It also has the People's tab for you to invite individuals and keep track of your class roster. And then it actually has the grading section, which you want to make sure that the students know how they're doing in their classroom. However, it's a lot simpler than a learning management system. So I completely recommend teachers, especially those starting off, that are looking for some, cool new tool to add as part of their technology in the classroom, to utilize Google Classroom. Okay, and that's our tutorial for today. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and email me at delisabreu@mail.ucf.edu. Thank you and have a nice day.